Here's an intro you could use, inspired by the calm, grounded yet thought-provoking style of Shi Heng Yi, blending philosophical reflection, simple imagery, and a touch of mystery. Asterisk asterisk. In life, puzzles are not solved by rushing to place the last piece, but by understanding why the puzzle was created in the first place. Asterisk asterisk. We look at the world today, its noise, its chaos, its headlines, and we think, asterisk, the end must be near. Asterisk, but before we ask asterisk, when asterisk the end will come, we must ask, asterisk, do we truly understand what the end means? Asterisk, because in every ending there is also a beginning, and perhaps the final puzzle of Revelation is not about predicting a date, but about preparing the mind and the heart, so that when the last piece falls into place, we are ready, calm, awake, and unafraid. If you want, I can also create a asterisk asterisk full speech outline asterisk asterisk in this Shi Heng Yi-like style, keeping the meditative and disciplined flow. That way, your whole talk carries the same atmosphere as this opening. The end is not a date, it is a state of readiness. Many people live as though the end of something, whether it is the end of a chapter in their life, the end of the world, or the end of their own time, is something marked on a calendar. They look for signs in the sky, in politics, in nature, in events unfolding around them, believing that when they recognize the right combination of signs, they will know exactly when the end will arrive. But by focusing on a date, they prepare only for an event in time, not for the transformation of the mind and the spirit that must happen long before. Readiness is not an appointment you can rush to meet at the last minute. It is a state you carry within you at all times, cultivated in the way you live each day. If you are waiting for the last moment to prepare, it is already too late, because the habit of unpreparedness will not suddenly change simply because the clock is close to striking midnight. Readiness is a state of being that emerges from awareness, discipline, and alignment between your actions and your values. It is knowing that life can change without warning, and living in such a way that you could face that change with steadiness rather than panic. This does not mean living in fear or constantly bracing yourself for disaster. It means training the mind to be calm, the heart to be clear, and the conscience to be at peace. When you are in such a state, the arrival of the end, whenever and however it comes, will not catch you unprepared. Just as a seasoned traveler packs for a journey without knowing exactly what weather they will face, the prepared soul carries within the tools needed for whatever may come. Those who seek only a date forget that time is always moving. The end is not a single point, it is a threshold, and that threshold could be stepped across at any moment. It is like a wave on the ocean. From a distance, you may see it forming, but by the time you think it is still far away, it could already be breaking at your feet. Readiness means you are not scanning the horizon anxiously, but standing firm where you are, knowing you can meet the wave whether it is large or small, sudden or slow. This state of readiness removes the fear of uncertainty, because your foundation is no longer built on guessing the future, but on strengthening yourself in the present. To be in a state of readiness is to live with intentionality. Every action, no matter how small, is done with the understanding that it contributes to who you are becoming. If the end is near, you have lived in such a way that there are no urgent apologies you must scramble to make, no deep regrets you have left unspoken, no essential kindness you have withheld until tomorrow. The readiness is in the reconciliation you have already made with your own past, with others, and with your own inner truths. It is in the clarity that you have lived aligned with your deepest convictions, so the end brings closure, not unfinished business. The human tendency is to procrastinate on inner work. People will say, "I will make peace when the signs are clear. I will change when I see the end is coming." But the discipline of readiness is built in the quiet, ordinary days when nothing dramatic is happening. It is in the choice to forgive now, to act with integrity now, to cultivate wisdom now, rather than waiting for a dramatic signal. Readiness is formed in the everyday moments, so that when extraordinary moments come, you are already standing on solid ground. If you think you can plant a tree only when the storm clouds gather, you will find the roots too shallow to hold. This state of readiness is not about having all the answers. It is about being at peace with the questions. The end of anything, life, an era, a relationship, or the world as we know it, brings uncertainty. You may not know what lies beyond that end, but readiness is the confidence that whatever it is, you will face it with courage and clarity. This kind of peace is not given, it is built. It is built through daily choices, through self-reflection, through letting go of what is not essential and holding fast to what truly matters. It is built through consistency because a single burst of preparation cannot replace the steady work of living with awareness. In many ways, readiness is freedom. If the end no longer frightens you because you are prepared in spirit, you are free to live fully in the present moment. You no longer waste energy on fear of what might come. Instead, you pour that energy into living well now. You become less reactive to the chaos of the world because your stability does not depend on the world staying calm. This is the paradox. Those who are ready for the end are the ones who live most vibrantly in the now. By preparing for the end as a state rather than a date, you remove the fear of when, and you gain the power of how. Readiness is also humility. It is the acceptance that you cannot control when or how the end will come, but you can control who you are when it arrives. It is releasing the illusion of certainty and replacing it with the strength of character. Just as a martial artist trains for countless scenarios without knowing which one will actually occur, so too does a prepared mind train for the unknown. The training itself is the point. The readiness is the result. You cannot fake it at the last moment. It will either be there or it will not. And if it is not there, no countdown or prediction will create it in an instant. To treat the end as a date is to make it distant, something you believe you can prepare for later. To treat the end as a state is to make it immediate, something that shapes the way you live each day. This shift in perspective transforms anxiety into focus. It is no longer about racing against time, but about aligning yourself with timeless principles. It is about building inner strength, compassion, clarity, and resolve, not because you know the end is near, but because you know it could be, and because whether the end comes tomorrow or in 1,000 years, these qualities are the foundation of a life well lived. Ultimately, the readiness that matters most is invisible to others. It is not in stockpiled resources or frantic last-minute changes. It is in the quiet confidence of a person whose heart is settled, whose mind is clear, and whose life has been lived with purpose. When you reach that state, the question of when the end will come loses its hold over you. The end is not a threat. It is simply the closing of one chapter and the beginning of another. And when it comes, you will not be caught off guard because you have been ready all along, not for a date on the calendar, but for the timeless moment when change arrives. If you want, I can now do the asterisk asterisk same 1000 word expansion asterisk asterisk for keynote number 2, so both match in depth and style.